You are now listening to the Pelicans Postgame Report.
For all things Pelicans, you're now tuned into the Pelican Postgame Report. Much love to the fam. Appreciate y'all tuning in this episode of the Pelican Postgame Report. We're going to go over some draft picks. We know the draft is coming up next week, matter of fact, and it's a few prospects that we want to go over with you guys in this episode of Pelican Postgame Report. I am Big Q. We got DC in the place to be. Shout out to you guys. Please feel free to smash upon the like button, hit the subscribe button as we get going. And of course, in this portion of the season, the off season, there are quite a few things to talk about in terms of the Pelicans not being so urgent in their motions right now. A lot of teams been doing things. We've seen what the Lakers signing the coach. We see what Cleveland's doing. We see what other teams are signing the assistant coaches and bringing them over to their squads. Not so much from the Pelicans. Pelicans did lose VP Trajan Langdon to Detroit. There's been no official word of who will take his position. We haven't heard anything. But for the most part, in terms of the draft, as we get ready and tuned up for the draft, Pelicans pick 21st overall in this year's draft. No second round picks right now. This is a known list of players right now that the Pelicans have worked out. Izan Almansa, the G League Ignite player, Kevin Cross from Tulane, Ryan Dunn from Virginia, Zach Edey from Purdue, Jonathan Mogbo from San Fran, Tristan Newton from UConn, Hunter Salas from Wake Forest, Baylor Sherman from Creighton, Tyler Smith from G League Unite, Naquan Tomlin from Memphis, and Jalen Tyson from Cal. Those guys were pretty much the list. And of course, you had to add Yevis Messi, who the Pelicans were reported to have had some workout situation with as well. So that's some of the people that the Pelicans, obviously, we see some wings on here. We see some difference, but mostly a lot of the issues a lot of people believe in terms of the Pelicans heading into the draft should be big orientated. So in this episode of the show, we'll kind of look at some of the bigs and see which guys, some of these guys that make sense to the Pelicans, man, moving forward. So here's a list right here. And then some of these guys, this is by way of the Ringer. They always do a phenomenal job every year of concocting and having some very good breakdowns on some of these players. This is the big board that's presented by Kevin O'Connor. And at the top of the list, and this fluctuated because at first they had Sarr up top. Now things are kind of moving around a bit. You're seeing a few people there. So we're going to get DC to chime in here and get his thoughts on some of these players who make sense, as well going forward. So, yes, DC, let's dive right into it, man. Let's talk about this. Bigs, man. A few of these bigs. Now, perfect, what perfect big? You just kind of work your way from the perfect big that the Pelicans could get at 21. So we know guys like Deron Holmes and these guys right here. Could be, Khalil Ware. These are some names that are a lot of intriguing names, but a lot of people don't think some of these guys will be available at 21st for the Pelicans. Let's hear some of the guys you did research on in terms of the bigs.
I mean, obviously, if it's Christmas, some teams feel like the draft is, man, you got to talk about, what's number one on the Christmas list, man. And I would say that would be my guy, Kellen Ware. But before, say maybe a month ago, he was projected right around 20, 21. But as of late, man, Kellen Ware might go top 10. So this might be a wish at this point. Unless we pull off some type of trade and wind up moving up in the draft. This is pretty much, to me, the one guy that will be kind of like the do-it-all big. You got guys like Klingham. You could say Sarr might be that, but we don't know what his potential is. Just ridiculous because of his age. Sarr is like 19, 18 years old or something, true 7-footer, run the floor. And then you got Klingham. You see what he's done when and basically held off Zach Edey. I mean, Edey still did his thing. You also got him too. But Kellen Ware is a guy that good post game, man. I mean, he got some moves down on the block. Still could, improve there, but he is a serious scorer. Has a really, really nice shot. That's what I like about him, man. You're talking about a guy that can shoot the three. His percentages, I don't think were all that crazy. But if you just put the film on, man, and you watch this guy, his release point is high. He's got a very fluid jumper, and he ain't got no problems taking that shot. Then when you switch over to the other end, you know, hell of a shot blocker, man. Has very good patience. It's not crazy athletic far as going out on a perimeter, but he is athletic. This dude got some athleticism, man. You talking about a 37-inch vert. He can get up. And the boy is 6'11", almost 6'12", so damn near basically in shoes, true 7-footer. 20 years old, had some bad remarks about him in Oregon. They talked about him not having a motor, his lack of focus and concentration, but he went over to Indiana, and all he did was ball out there, man, averaging 15.9 points, as you can see. Shooting 42%. I'm sorry, I thought his 3-point percent was down, but that's only 1.3 attempts a game, 42.5% from the three. It's just your five you're talking about. Down there, 9 rebounds. This is college, so that could easily be 10 in the NBA with more time, and almost 2 blocks a game. So you're talking about somebody that shows all type of potential. But the only problem is, he's looking like a sleeper. People talk about his motor and the problems he had at Oregon. Well, a lot of teams interviewed him during the combine, and he interviewed pretty well, did pretty solid in his drill. So Zach Edey, but what are the odds of that, right? You're talking about a guy who is the 2-time college basketball player of the year, 2 times, right? And this draft is so weird, Q. So I just got to call it for my next guy. Because remember, we was looking at Zach Edey. Zach Edey was projected to be picked in the second round. Now he just shot up to 15. Some people project him could possibly be in the top 10. You just don't know, man. You just don't know. Everybody likes to talk about what Zach Edey can't do. He can't stretch the floor. He's a traditional big. The game is moving away from him. Let me tell you something what he can do. He can be 7'4" and 300 pounds every day of the week. How many people in the NBA you guys can do that? That can move the way he can move. You're talking about a guy that could possibly slow down Wemby. I ain't saying he gonna do it for sure, but this one of the dudes that definitely could be your best bet. Insane post player, man. This dude got all the moves on the block, bro. You dump the ball into him, he can hook with the left, the right, spin back, left, back, right. Got a nice little drop step. You can't move him. Excellent rebounder. A very patient screener, Q. He's not impatient with it. Sets excellent screens. Everything you would want him to do on a block that a big man can do. He excels at it. His main problem is people will say he's slow footed, doesn't fit the modern NBA. Not really a guy that's going to shoot threes. You know what I'm saying? So you would call him limited as a defender. Sometimes you think Zach should just dunk it and he kind of goes up, trying to lay it up, do a little hook shot, stuff like that, man. But, man, what he can do, there just ain't a lot of people, period, in the NBA that can be a Zach Edey, man. You talking about damn near a one-on-one player. I know a lot of people talk crazy about this dude. Put it down. If you got somebody that get him, I love for him to be a Pelican. We would use him in a limited capacity. But if Zach Edey, let's say, went somewhere like Detroit or somewhere where they don't really have anything going, you could run a whole offense with Zach Edey. It'll look like old school basketball because you slowing it down, playing in a half court, putting it on the block. But he can pass out of double teams. He can do a lot. He showed a lot, and I mean he is 22 years old, so he's been in college for a while. So he's definitely a mature player. But if he was to slide to 21 for the Pels, man, I don't think we should hesitate to pick him at all. So what was it? What would his NBA comps be? Q? Is you
Jonas,
Oh,
they got
I see it.
Zubac and
Zubac.
Valanciunas.
Zubac and Val. I don't see Valanciunas. I ain't gonna hold you. I don't see
Uh,
Valanciunas at all. I can see Zubac. More Zubac is correct. I think an upgraded version of Zubac. And he was out there shooting that three too in his workouts too. I don't know if you want to believe in that shot though. He
that's
was
the
definitely getting him up.
that's the part of the game where you gotta. That's the part of the game a lot of people looking at when you talk about a guy like Zach Edey. Is like if he develops a 3-point shot, what could they say? What could they say about him if he develops the
You know
3-point
what I
shot?
say, Q? I said if everybody in the NBA develops another foot in height at the big man spot, they might be able to stop him on the block. That's what I said.
Crazy.
I
Yeah,
don't care whether he develop a three or not, man. You dump that ball into that ball on the block, man. There's nobody that can stop him, man. Nobody. Look at this dude. Look at him.
he's a big guy, man. No doubt about it, man. And he every year he's gotten better, man. Back to back. If he develops a 3-point shot, I don't know what you can say about him. Now they talk about him being slow foot and the pick and pops and all that, and that could be very well. Because it's but he's not as slow as they anticipate him to be. But anyway, moving forward, DC, the Pelicans reportedly are working out this particular player, Yevis Messi, and Messi is a guy that does, as they
You
say,
can talk about Yevis.
yeah, by Yevis Messi. And my take on Yevis Messi is that they have Jalen Duren as a comp, but I mean, listen, the guy is his defense is pretty good. I mean, he goes and gets the ball, he plays defense, he shot block, he got a lot of hustle in him, got good size, 6'11", 230 pounds. He's a player that, defensively speaking, does work in terms of what Willie Green want with the switch off philosophy, but his offensive game is not there. I mean, he'll hustle and get you offensive rebounds, and he's constantly in there doing his thing. He'll dive on the floor for you. He has a big motor. So I mean, I like the kid at the end of the day, but offensively speaking, he doesn't really give you the 3-point shot that you want a big to have, that kind of thing. That's not really a part of his game. And plus, he's not much of a big that can see the floor in terms of his passing. He's more like a big that goes and he's a guy that you could throw a lob up to. He's going to go get it. He's a guy that's going to dunk on your head. That's what Messi represents. But he's a nonstop motor player that'll give you everything that he's got. So I think that's interesting. And the Pelicans looking at him, and they could say perhaps if Messi's a hard worker, he could develop some of the offensive game. I don't anticipate him shooting 3-pointers and doing all that kind of stuff, but he does run.
You just need to stop being a paratrooper, kid.
Yeah, he just
He ain't seen the post he don't like.
Yeah, that's true. He has to have better discipline. It's right. He definitely got to develop there. But yeah, it's not too much outside of that you can say about Messi, like his motor. But he's proven to be a guy that's that has needs to listen to coaching and teaching. So what can I tell you about Yevis Messi? Let's move on, DC. Let's talk about some other people. How about Deron Holmes from Dayton? A lot of people talk about Deron Holmes. And one of the comps is Jalen Smith. They talk about him, 6'10", 230 plus.
When you say they comp him to Jalen Smith,
the backup big for Indiana.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'm not familiar with him. Is that the guy who had he wore a goggles, I think, over there in Indiana?
Goggles, right? The guy.
Yeah, we were projected to draft him in the draft, and we wound up not taking him.
Right. Well, he was 10 points and 5 boards last year for the Pacers in the backup role.
That's pretty good.
Not bad at all. Yeah, Jalen Smith, this character with the goggles, known for the Poindexter goggles.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, Deron Holmes.
You hit it on the head too. They both 6'9", about 230. Some very similar body types.
Right.
I don't know. I like Deron Holmes a lot more.
He can score, man. He can score 20 points a contest, 8.5 rebounds, 2 blocks per contest. He shoots almost 63% from the field. So I mean, the dude has a lot of potential. A lot of people said, they talk about his small school, Dayton, but you ball where you do what you can do where you are. The breakdown of Ron figures out how he how he playing his body. He listed as 6'8" as a high school senior, then sprouted to 6'10" at Dayton. It's around 230 pounds with a long wingspan and great leaping ability, and he does. Shot blocking is the best defensive skill, agile in small places and perceptive, keeps his heads on the swivel, hustles for second and third efforts on possessions, Intelligent player, embraces his role as a screener, cutter, and rim runner. Always boxes out after defensive stop. He'll instantly sprint up the floor, save his hands up to catch passes, and if he doesn't receive the ball, he doesn't mope. 3-point percentage is way up. He shot almost 27% over the first couple of years, but he's at 43.6% this year on quadruples the attempts from last year. His form looks a tad quicker and he's smoother than the elongated release he showed in his previous years, which means he worked on his game. Excellent pick and roll in the middle against zone defenses as well. They said that he lacks advanced footwork in the post, but he's good enough to beat mismatches at the next level. He could punish the switching defenses by sealing off a smaller defender under the rim. And some of the minuses they talk about with Daron Holmes is he limited experience playing against top competition. They'll give you that small school nudge and say, well, he played at small school, so he dominated, so we don't know what he looks like at the next level. But it's a part. But you do what you could do. So he got to cut down on the turnovers. And they say he telegraphs too many of his passes and his shooting improvement for real. The reason he's shooting an outlier number from three, but his free throw percentage isn't noticeably improved and still below 70%, which we got to work on that if we're going to have a big there. But there's not too much negative you can say about Daron Holmes. He's an offensive juggernaut. He hustles. Yeah, it's not too much you can say about that. And he works hard.
He fits the switch all, Q.
He does. He's the perfect. If Willie wants a switch all player that can shoot threes and he has good size, he's 6'10", 230 pounds, shoots almost 39% from 3-point range, and he's a hustler, a rebounder, gets the offensive rebounds. The guy is a really good interior scorer. And that's this guy would be the perfect fit for what Willie Green wants to do. Like I said, he's 6'10", 230. And he fits all of that, DC. This would be your perfect switch-all player, Daron Holmes II.
Yeah, my only thing with Daron Holmes is he stopped taking workouts, man. So it's speculated that this was my third guy after Zach Edey, got Kellen Well, beat Daron Holmes. And he stopped taking workouts because somebody promised him that they would draft him in the first round. Not sure what team it was. Guess you'd have to look to see who worked them out. But I don't think the Pels got to work out with him. So definitely would love to have Daron Holmes. But because of that information, I don't think it's gonna happen. What I like about him is his hustle, man, and his motor. He never stops. Just finds a way. He's just like one of them guys. Well, I could see it. You look up at the stat sheet, and you probably would be shocked about what you're looking at with him because he just goes about it, does his work. It's not really flashy, It's not super athletic, but athletic enough. Not super fast, but just fast enough, And whatever he needs to do, he'll do. He started to lean into that 3-point shot, man. The dude couldn't shoot 3-pointers at all. And by the time you're looking at this season, turns to 39% 3-point shoot. So he has a hell of a work ethic, and it would be amazing to see him on the back end with Herb Jones. And then you look on the offensive end and imagine somebody that can play defense the way he seems to be capable of. Although we look at some of his drills, his shuttle times and things weren't amazing, but just put on the tape. And I'm looking at him, and he does the little things, man. So it'd be awesome to see him on the defensive end with Herb, and then you go on the offensive end, and you got somebody who can knock down 39% from the three. That would be pretty damn good. So you can't just, leave him out there, even though I think teams will probably take their chances with letting him shoot a three versus Zion barreling down the lane. But Duran also sets screens, man. He's a good cutter. He's just a guy that has a solid feel for the game, in my opinion. I think he would be an awesome pick.
Yeah, he'd be super smooth, man. And what the Pelicans got doing what they're doing, man. And he fits. I think he would be probably the best option in terms of that. If Zach Edey's not the guy, man, I think the Pelicans like Zach Edey a lot. And if he's there, no doubt about it.
And put him to Tyler Smith, in my opinion. Some people, I guess, put him as a 4, but he can also be a small ball center. So you got him at on this board, they got him ranked at 27.
I think he is.
And then you also got Filipowski, which I'm not sure if we worked out, but does have them Duke ties, man. We got to mention those two guys. But my guy would be Tyler Smith. You talking about a guy who's 19 years old. He played for a G League at 19. He's listed as a forward, but I could see him being a center, man. This dude, 6'9", really like 6'10". Um, this he one of the best shooters in the draft. Dude. I know he shot 33%, man. When you go look at the tape, man. You're looking at somebody that's extremely athletic. He's got very good footwork, man. Quick release. Then they say he was making over 40% of his threes or more at standing still. So if you got him at the five, bro, what are you gonna be doing? You park him in the corner, put him at the top of the creek, he's standing still. You give him that shot, he knocking it down at 40%. This dude is very athletic. He can't really get his own shot, but he will attack the paint. I think he's a pretty decent rebounder, although they have him at 5 rebounds. But looking at this G League at 19, man, they were a very bad team. Defensively as well. So I look at him as somebody who has a lot of potential. We're gonna take a chance on somebody. I'd rather take a chance on him than DC. You know your guy, because worst case scenario, we definitely turn him into a power forward if the small ball rotation big thing don't work. Or you got a guy that maybe you can have at 2 or 3 spots. Um, his biggest knock to me is just he can't dribble to get his shot. Really, he ain't gonna get you like that. But you look at his game and you're like, damn, like it's very smooth, very intentional. It looks like it's there. Like he has the ability where he could turn into that guy. But defensively, I look at his potential, what he could be decent defensively, because a lot of stuff on tape, it don't look good defensively. So a lot of people saying he's not a good defender. But when I look at that team he was on, like the whole team defense was just horrible, very very bad. So I can't like put everything on him, but I did see enough on tape, and then he does get a block a game. You know, he'll get some steals out there. Extremely athletic, 6'10" dude. That's pretty solid, man. Pretty strong, almost 230 pounds. Uh, got a nice vert. You know, he can get up to, get some rebound, and then lights out from behind the 3 point line. And we go on to old boy Filipowski. I remember we talked about him, man. I looked at his tape, Usa, and I was like, damn, I could see us drafting him. Q. That looked like somebody Willie will fall in love with. But Filipowski, man, they compare him to Zach Collins. I actually like his game, bro. I do. He's 6'10", you know, shooting 34% from three. So a lot of people, some people say he can shoot, some people say he can't because they're looking at the percentages in college. But looking at his release, looking at his jumper, I think he can shoot, and he will be a stretch big in the league. He 2.8 assists a game, 16 points. Big dude out there, man. He can take you off the dribble. You know, he can basically handle the ball, man. For a big guy, like it's kind of cool to look at for as a center. But that aspect of his offensive game, and then defensively, he's a guy that can switch off. He can switch off, but he's not your prototypical, I guess, rim protector to me. Like I could see guys like that's bigger, stronger, like kind of bullying him a little bit. When you put on the tape, you definitely could see that. Like he was getting pushed around. He's not strong, man. He's not that I would be looking for at the center position. You know, somebody who's a little more finesse. Although he does play solid defense, because looking at him, a lot of times people say he's not a good defender. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't see that at all. I thought he was a very good defender. Where people faced up on him and actually switching. Obviously, he's lacking some athleticism in that department, but based on his position and what he was, I didn't think he was bad at all. I can see him being a very good rotational big in the league. And his offensive game, is pretty good, man. He's got some moves down low. He ain't gonna bang per se. Like he could face up and get his shot. He can do some little post stuff, but he's really good at creating his own shot. For a big guy, it's kind of like a lot of these other guys. They kind of got to get the ball in a certain position. He can get to where he wants and get his own shot. So they compare him to Zach Collins. I guess that's how they view him in the NBA. But watching him in college, saw him do a lot of stuff. Not sure if it would translate. If the Pels drafted him again, this is a guy where there's upside there. Definitely wouldn't be like, oh my God, I can't believe they took him. But he's definitely not my first pick, man. My guys would be Magbo and what is that? How do you pronounce dude? Adim Bona from UCLA.
Mm-hmm.
I like those two guys, but I don't like them at 21.
So yeah, Jonathan Magbo, man, we had an opportunity. I watched plenty of film on Magbo. Very talented player. Plus he got a 3-point game to him. Good around the basket, plays defense. The guy is 14-14. He give you 14-14 every game coming up in college. 14 points, 14 rebounds, 2 steals.
That's insane, bro.
Yeah. And then he shot 65% from the field, as well.
So at his peak, he should average 20-20, right?
Well, I mean, I think Magbo could be good. Like you said, he's about 6'6", almost 6'6", somewhere around there. But he has a 7'2" wingspan. So I mean, he's an interesting character. And the Pelicans did work. I think that they worked Magbo out.
Yeah, they did. So know what I think of Pelicans though?
What?
Looking at Magbo Q and what he can do.
Not a Larry Nance, is it?
No, I'm gonna lean in the whole other direction.
Ben
Magbo
Simmons
is a guy.
They got Ben Simmons as a comp, man.
They got Ben Simmons as a comp.
Come on,
Magbo is the guy who they probably could run some of the same plays with the second unit that they do for Zion. He like a poor man Zion. He gonna get downhill, bro. He can cross you up. He's pretty athletic. Can finish with either hand. Attacks the paint like crazy. He's an amazing offensive rebound. He can switch on the go. It's like a poor man Zion. I'm not saying he's Zion, but it's like a lot of the stuff or the game or the way Zion plays the game, Magbo can play the same way. And he can do it at the 5. Although he's 217, so how long are you really going to be able to play him at the 5? But if they're looking at Magbo and you get him as a guy, like let's say Zion gets hurt, I think he's the guy you could plug in and you can do some of the Zion stuff still that you've probably built into your offense. Some of these plays and handoffs where you kind of shielding people off when we get to the hole. Magbo can go in there and still complete some of those plays. So I think that's what the Pels see. But we need a center. You'd be a good small ball center. We're going 1 inch shorter than Larry. So we're getting smaller. We're not getting bigger. But if they got him at 21, you would like this pick? Because I don't think I would at 21. I hear people taking Magbo higher. I'm just not sure, man. Maybe if he was 3-4 inches taller, bro, he'd probably be a lock to be a top 15, top 10 player. But that height, man, I don't know. How many lifts can you actually put in your shoe?
Well, I mean, I do like his hustle, and he was working on his 3-point shot in the combine, and he was knocking down those shots, and that was a part of his game. Like a lot of those guys know when they start going, especially some of those bigs, they got to start practicing on that shot because that can make them some real money to even elevate their draft.
If I told you, I'm gonna give you a workout. And if you hit 50% of your 3-point shots, you're going to get $1 million. How good do you think you're going to shoot?
I'm working my ass off to get them shots right, boy.
But does that make you a 3-point shooter now? Because you was able to do it in one workout?
No, it doesn't. But it does show your ability to shoot the 3-point, which is what they're looking at. Like, as versus, like, imagine the draft stock of Yevis Messi. And how it would elevate if he showed the ability to shoot the 3-point ball in combine consistently. So if they can see it's something you're comfortable with, then they can develop it. But if they can see that you can do it, you can do it, they can work with you and take you from there, as opposed to somebody that hadn't had the ability to do it. They have to bring it out. So if you can show it, I mean, that's something else, like early on. So I think that's why a lot of these guys, some of these big guys and these forwards show that they are working on the 3-point shot, because they can make money with the three. The three is big. Three is big in the league. All right, who you got next, DC? Who's from UCLA?
This dude, man. Now he got some stuff, to his game that he still needs to work on. Obviously, if he's 55, but the athleticism and the hustle Q is just off the charts, man. Don't jump out in the numbers, as you can see with everything, but I mean, he did average 12 points on 61%, 5.9 rebounds, almost 2 blocks and a steal. Defensively, man, dude just looked like an animal on the highlight blocks after highlight block, bro. Very big body dude. This dude almost 247 pounds. He's 6'8", but it's just awesome. Like watching this tape, man. The potential of what he could be. Obviously, if he was what he should be, he probably would go a lot higher with the athletic gifts that he has. He really attacks on the boards. He's really physical, dude. Dude's super quick, great jumper, excellent lob threat. You know what I'm saying? If we were able to get a guy like Trae Young, I could see him getting some of them lobs, man. Do I see him as a starting center? For us, no. But a guy to replace Larry Nance, and you talking about if he gets coached up, gets a little more discipline to his game. You know what I'm saying? Get that 3-point shot together. It's not a great free throw shot together and the 3-point shot, because he's not a good free throw shooter. You could be looking at somebody special, man. I mean, shades of Montez Harrell and Bismack Biyombo. If you can get this guy, he's 55, so he's projected to go somewhere in the second round, possibly. I think this will be a real good get, man. Not at 21, but later in the draft. 21 years old, so you got an older guy. I like that for us. I think we got enough young guys. We got Dice as our young project. If we move off from him, maybe we want to get another 19-year-old. The Pels don't seem to do good with super young dudes. They draft them with no direction, don't know what the hell they want to do with them. Just draft guys a little older that you can get put into a role. And I could see him going to that Larry Nance role, man. If we're not really sure on what EJ Liddell can give us, I think this is a guy that can come in and he definitely can give us everything defensively that Willie loves about Larry and more. I think he would actually be better once he, gets sped up to the league and gets situated and acclimated. But out the gate, day one, man, I think it's somebody we could put in our second unit. And he'll definitely make some awesome defensive plays. And if we did have a small ball guy, I think we would like what we saw in him for a small ball five.
Subscribe now and stay up to date for all things new.